Today I'm going to talk to you about a test most people have not heard of, a test most doctors do not order, a test that is becoming the missing link for couples who are finding it difficult to conceive and have been told that everything is normal. If you're finding it difficult to conceive, have a normal semen analysis, have had failed IUI cycles, have had failed IVF cycles, or recurrent miscarriages, listen to this video till the end, because what I am about to tell you could change everything for you. Every sperm cell has DNA. That is the genetic blueprint of your child. Now imagine that this genetic blueprint has breaks, damage, fragmentation, tears. The sperm looks normal. It swims normally. It even reaches the egg and it fertilizes the egg. But the material, genetic material that it carries inside is damaged. And that damage has consequences that a standard semen analysis can never tell you. A standard semen analysis tells you how many sperms are there in the semen sample, how fast they are moving, which tells you the quantity, the motility, and the morphology. However, a standard semen analysis does not tell you what is inside the sperm cell. It is just like judging a book by its cover. A sperm may look perfectly normal. It could have a semen analysis could have a good semen count, perfect motility, even perfect morphology, but can still carry severely damaged DNA within the sperm cell. And that is the reason many couples who have been told that everything looks normal are still not conceiving. That is the reason where with apparently normal looking or good looking embryos after an IVF cycle, pregnancy is still failing. The report said normal, but no one looked inside. So we've looked at what is sperm DNA fragmentation. It is the breaks in the DNA that a sperm cell carries. Now, how do we measure DNA fragmentation? DNA fragmentation is measured as a percentage. We call it DFI, the sperm DFI or the DNA fragmentation index. Anything less than 15% is normal, good prognosis. 15 to 25%, moderate DNA fragmentation. Anything more than 25 to 30% is high. This could probably make natural pregnancy difficult. And if the DFI is more than 50%, it can severely affect the chances of pregnancy. And this is what makes it even more critical. A man could have a sperm count of 50 million with a motility of 45% and could have a DNA fragmentation of 55%, which does not get tested in a standard semen analysis. So his semen analysis report would be termed as normal by any standard clinic in India. And the couple would keep trying, not knowing why they are unable to conceive. Now let me tell you what the high sperm DNA fragmentation does. Many times in a natural pregnancy, this sperm may be unable to fertilize the egg or could form very poor quality embryos which may not implant and will end up with infertility. Even with IVF or ICSI, these sperms can fertilize the eggs but could end up forming poor quality embryos. Or these embryos could arrest on day 3 and not progress to day 5 or blastocyst. They could form poor quality blastocysts or the day 5 embryos. Even at times when the blastocysts or the day 5 embryos look apparently normal, these embryos do not end up implanting. And it results in failed IVF cycles. And the heartbreaking connection, recurrent miscarriages. A high sperm DNA fragmentation is strongly associated with a recurrent pregnancy loss. These women have conceived, They have even looked at their baby's heartbeat on a sonography, who've told their families and then lost it again and again with no apparent explanation. This is because the egg has a limited capacity to actually rectify the severe damage in the sperm. If there is a very high percentage of damage, the forming embryo has genetic instability and the pregnancy does not continue. So, if you have had 2 or more miscarriages and his DNA fragmentation has not been tested, that would be the first test that I would order today. What causes this? Oxidative stress is the #1 cause. Free oxygen radicals in the semen damage the sperm. Alcohol, smoking, poor diet, environmental toxins. #2, varicocele. This is a vascular condition in the testis where there is stagnation of blood around the testis and increase in the temperature around the testis, which could dramatically affect the sperm DNA fragmentation. Third, often missed, many times treatable, is chronic infection and inflammation that is damaging the sperm, maybe even over years. Fourth, age. It has been shown that increasing age increases the sperm DNA fragmentation index, especially after the age of 45. Fifth, stress. Chronic stress will elevate cortisol levels, which could again damage sperm. Sixth, anything that can increase the temperature around the testis, such as laptop use on the lap, that long commute of 3 hours in the car, hot bath, sauna, these appear small, but these are cumulative and they matter more than what most men think. Can this be corrected? Yes, often significantly. Antioxidants help majorly. Vitamin C, vitamin E, coenzyme Q, zinc, selenium, astaxanthin. Especially if taken consistently, it has been shown that it significantly improves the sperm DNA fragmentation. Second is varicocele repair. If there is a high-grade varicocele, then surgical correction of that varicocele can even decrease the sperm DFI from 40% to less than 15%, but the cases need to be individualized. The third is treating the chronic infection and inflammation with antibiotics. Of course, a good diet, the Mediterranean diet with walnuts, tomatoes, berries, the dark leafy greens have again been shown to significantly improve the sperm DNA fragmentation. Now, why is this important and why is this critical? Is that because the sperm that is being produced in the testis takes about 74 days to go from an immature sperm or a stem cell to a mature sperm, which then gets ejaculated in the semen sample. And therefore, all this matters. All the changes that you make matter. Every cigarette that you stop smoking, every supplement that you take, the antioxidant-rich food diet that you take, they will all start impacting the sperm that is going to come into the semen sample 74 days later. And you have that window to impact the genetic contribution to your child. The sperm that you have today is not the sperm that you have to work with always. And this is not a small thing. This is everything. How is a sperm DFI tested? The 2 standard tests are the tunnel and the SCASA, which is the sperm chromatin structure assay. A halo test can also be done. These tests are available in fertility clinics in India. So, if you've been trying to conceive without success for more than a year, if you have recurrent miscarriages, if you've had failed IUI cycles, failed IVF cycles, a normal semen analysis and no pregnancy, get the sperm DFI tested. And honestly, as a part of every preconception check. If the DFI turns out high, what do we do? Well, first we look and identify the cause. If it is a lifestyle factor, lack of proper sleep and exercise, then we rectify those. We look for a varicocele, and if it is a high-grade varicocele, we surgically correct it. We treat the chronic inflammation with antibiotics, and we give antioxidant supplements, which, if taken properly and consistently, can really improve the sperm DNA fragmentation. And what if IVF is the route which is already decided or needs to be done? Then we change the protocol. We identify methods of selecting good and viable sperms by using sperm sorting techniques. We have sperm sorter dishes, or max, and many other sperm sorting devices that are available, and use devices such as, or techniques such as, the Pixie, so that we can choose a high grade or a viable sperm with a low DNA fragmentation, which will lead to good quality embryos. Sometimes, if the sperm DFI is extremely high, we even consider taking sperms directly from the testis through a microsurgical procedure, or just a simple testicular sperm aspiration. Now, why do we do this? That is because most of the times the sperm gets affected, the DFI gets affected when the sperm leaves the testis and is traveling through the male reproductive tract into the semen. And hence, taking sperms directly from the testis gives us sperms with a lower sperm DNA fragmentation. Sperm DFI, or a high sperm DFI, is not the end of the road. It is actually just the beginning of understanding of something that was missing. Male infertility, or the male factor, has been the silent factor in infertility for many years. Even after we started testing, all we had available was just the standard semen analysis. But now, with the sperm DFI testing, we can identify a high sperm DFI in these sperms, and we can start looking at the missing factor, which is most often missed but can be treatable and can just improve the pregnancy rates to a large extent. If something in this video clicked for you, don't just file it away. Act on it, get tested, get the information, because the information exists, the treatment exists, that 74-day window exists. And if you have questions, put it in the comments. I read every one of them. If you need a consultation, the link is in the description. Your fertility is not just a number, it is just the starting point.